But that's the right. Is that the only undetectable?
Now, let me tell you what they are doing. Okay, they went old school. Now, what old school means is endogenous hormones, insulin, EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. These are all made by your body. So it's very difficult to differentiate between what your body produces naturally, the endogenous production, compared to an exogenous source as a cream, a gel, an injection, an oral, whatever it may be. They have difficulty in differentiating testosterone made by your body out of cholesterol compared to synthetic testosterone, most of it made by yams is the base for that. So this is where VADA decided to part ways with a WADA code is they only use this, they now call it IRMS. For many years, starting with 1994, it was called CIR, carbon isotope ratio testing. This is a test for synthetic testosterone. So they have a range where you can compare, they call it the C12 to C13 ratio, and they allow a 3%. I believe that's too wide and people are flying under the radar. But they use the TE ratio, the 4-to-1, as a screen test. And then if you come up with a positive and you're 11-to-1 or 10-to-1 or whatever above that, then before they go to adjudication, they will do on that same sample a carbon isotope ratio test. VADA does this expensive in the neighborhood of $450 a test on every urine sample that they test. So they understand the barn door that's open and the most widely used drug is synthetic testosterone. Okay? They're not using anabolic steroids because you'll be busted in a heartbeat. If you're doing that, you're real stupid. Okay? Right. So back to what they're doing now is they're using EPO, insulin, growth hormone, and synthetic testosterone. But there are others they can.
That's what Victor Conti said. They went old school. They're flying under the radar on the carbon isotope mass spectrometry test. They're being injected with prohibited substance measures and they're microdosing. These are the things that Victor Conti told me when he was here. They're using insulin, EPO, synthetic testosterone, and HGH, endogenous hormones that are naturally produced in the body. That's what he said. Compared to the other synthetic manufactured hormones, testosterone, that's not naturally produced in the body. They went old school. Now let me tell you what they are doing. This is what Victor said. He will never tell us who they are. They're doing all of this microdosing. Who is they? They're using EPO, insulin, testosterone, IGF-1, LR3, HGH. They. I got a question on that. Father and sons, thank you for your contribution to the super chat and your support to the channel. Father and son says, I'm glad you haven't left up on the truth. I just wish Spence team would have protected him more. I don't think no one knew as much as I knew and as much as I know about this subject matter. But Victor Conti said something in that. He said the word injection. He said the words EPO. He said the words testosterone. he said the words HGH, and he said the words insulin. Aren't these the same four prohibited substances that he used during the Balco scandal y'all saw in the Netflix documentary?
And then Victor Conti, you'll be high in the pharmacology.
Taking growth hormone, taking insulin, EPO, taking the clear, and we created a calendar.
So when you're on steroids, you have to have a plan that goes with the medication.
That's not good enough? I got another question. Look at your screen now. Air fryer already up on 500 degrees. You heard Andre Berto say, for a year and a half, he discovered that he was anemic. Now that he was with Victor Conti. You heard Terence Crawford say he's also anemic. 10 years after Andre Berto hooks up with Victor Conti. Berto hooks up with Conti in 2011. Tests positive for the banned substance nandrolone in 2012, 8 months later, which canceled his rematch with Victor Ortiz. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, never been publicly acknowledged by VADA on their website since he's been with the snack program from 2021 fighting Sean Porter all the way to 2024 when he fought Madrimov. And neither has Victor Conti published or posted on his Twitter account, X formerly known as Twitter, the documents from VADA saying that Terence Crawford was tested, period. Like he does Devin Haney every week and every month and every 2 months and 6 months, right? It's interesting that both Andre Berto test positive for nandrolone. And now Terence Crawford's low in iron. 10 years later, they both are with the same pseudo doctor, Victor Conti, and they both discover that they're anemic. What is the likelihood that they both would get, with Victor Conti, get comprehensive blood testing results and the same diagnosis and the same results of being anemic? I'll tell you the likelihood of it. Why I say zero? Look at your screen now, the bombshell here now. It's over. It's over. Only thing that's going to make me believe and not be suspicious any longer is if VADA proves, if Terence Crawford proves that he's been tested from the time he fought Sean Porter all the way to Madrimov. See, I asked Victor Conti whether he was tested when he fought Sean Porter. And you know what Victor told me? He wasn't tested. I asked Victor Conti, was Terence Crawford tested when he fought David Evanesian in the 6th round when he knocked David Evanesian out cold with one punch, something we've never seen Terence Crawford do in any of his previous fights. And Victor Conti told me, they had limited testing. But VADA never publicly acknowledged that. Victor Conti told y'all 2 days after the fight on his Twitter account, I've already published this, that there was 12 weeks of testing between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. When I got in front of him, he told me 10 weeks. But I pulled up on the screen where he said 12 weeks 2 days after the fight. But then in May of 2023, 2 months before the fight, he said 8 weeks. What's the lying and contradictions for? Andre Berto test positive for nandrolone after he discovered he was anemic. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, either tested positive for a banned substance, got a therapeutic use exemption, or never was tested at all. That's the only 3 options that we can determine right now, because VADA still never publicized it. But he acknowledged 2 weeks after fighting Errol Spence, he was anemic. Well, what's so interesting about anemia? Because Andre Berto tested positive, right? Go on and look at your screen now. It's over from here. Go on and look at it. Go on and look at it. You might be driving in your car right now. You might be at work. You might be cleaning the house. You might be a woman doing your hair, doing your makeup and your nails, and you can't read your screen. That's why the professor going to read it for you. The question is, and you can go on mayoclinic.com is my reference for the medical That's the medical website. That's where we get this from. I'm going to read it. What is nandrolone used for? Healthcare providers primarily prescribe nandrolone to treat anemia associated with chronic kidney failure. Anemia involves not having enough healthy red blood cells. Nandrolone boosts red blood cell production. Mm, 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 mm. But on your screen here, Berto tested positive for nandrolone. And lo and behold, after he gets with Victor Conti and discover that he is anemic, all of a sudden now, he tests positive for nandrolone. So nandrolone treat anemia. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. What else, Manager Marty, treats anemia? Bam! Look at your screen right now. You might be doing your hair, you might be doing your makeup as a woman. You might be on your lunch break and you might be driving in your car. Don't worry about it. Manager Marty gonna read the screen right now. Don't worry about it if you can't see. I'm gonna read it right now. Y'all see it? Look at it. Go on and look at it. I'm gonna read it. EPO is a hormone naturally produced by the kidneys that stimulates the bone marrow to produce red blood cells. EPO treatment is used to treat anemia, a condition characterized by low red blood cell levels. Isn't this interesting? You might ask, Manager Marty, we heard that Victor Conti said that there's certain prohibited banned substances that can be injected and that he will get a therapeutic use exemption with Dr. Chris Bonson, who he has on payroll at SNAC, and then they would take that therapeutic use exemption over to VADA and get Margaret in the Medical Advisory Committee Board at VADA, a testing agency, to give them the approval for their athlete to be injected by a banned substance. So that if that athlete tests positive for that banned substance, they won't be penalized. They won't be sanctioned, nor will they be suspended by the commission. Well, how can EPO be administered? Look at your screen now. Bam! EPO, I'm gonna read it. You might be doing your hair, you might be doing your nails, you might be doing your makeup, and you can't see your screen. You might be on your break at work. You might be working and driving in your car, and you can't. I'm gonna read it for you on your screen. EPO is administered as an injection under the skin or into a vein. The dosage and frequency of injections depend on the severity of anemia and the patient's response to treatment. So the question becomes, what's going on over there at the snack program? We need answers. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.